Hey everyone, welcome to the Tenn and 2 podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Catlin.
And we're here every week talking watches, photography, adventure, and exploring the world of horology.
Season 2.
Season 2?
What?
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. Took a whole week off.
Not really. Just kidding.
Well, considering that we are recording this before our week off, we are pretty excited.
And talking about the week that we're not really taking off.
Exactly.
Basically, we're just not recording a podcast next week.
That is...
Or last week. Whatever.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
We've not done that since we started.
No.
Maybe like...
There was the one week you were sick. Oh, man. That was when you were you went on your cruise.
Oh, that was early.
It was episode like 5 or 6
Yeah.
because then Ricky from Scottish Watches gave us their audio to use.
Yeah.
So that we didn't have to miss a week so early on in our podcast.
Well, and the thing that's really tough, and a lot of people are like, well, why don't you just pre-record way early? The thing is, we like to talk about current stuff. And if we record 3 weeks earlier, we can't really use that unless we do kind of a deep dive, episode into something. But
right.
I don't really like...
Well, we're recording this 2 weeks early. We're going to be talking about some old stuff by the time you hear it.
But also some new stuff.
Some new stuff. That
like literally went out yesterday.
Yeah.
This whole time thing.
And something that will have gone out the day before this episode releases, which is 2 weeks into the future.
Yeah.
Man.
Crazy.
We like time travel here.
We did.
Basically.
Anyway.
Well, I guess there's not a whole lot to catch up on, though, in hindsight, because we won't have taken our week off. What do you have planned for your week off?
I am going to do some hiking and some outdoor stuff if it's not an oven outside.
That's the problem.
We're supposed to have some good weather, I saw. So I am, and we're going to kind of go up north a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of border of North Carolina. And
nice.
Yeah, I'm just excited just to do some outside stuff. It's been a while. So
very fun.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going to work my regular job.
But you're not going to have to work your second job.
I mean, I still am.
Yeah.
But yeah, life will look the same.
Yeah.
For the most part. I just won't come to your house next week.
Aww.
Sad.
Well, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Because we're not really taking a week off. So I'll still see you next Friday.
Y'all cannot drag us away from this podcast. We love it too much.
Too much. There's too much content. Too much going on.
No, but we've had an exciting couple of weeks. The YouTube video is still climbing. It's doing great. If you haven't already watched it, head over to our YouTube channel. It was a video that we did on the Norqain Adventure Sport Ladies, which... You know what? Pat on the back to all you guys that watched that video for being a ladies watch and for all the feedback we got too. I mean, that was really, really super nice.
Yeah, no, we definitely appreciate it. It was a fun watch to start out with, and it was. I still find it fascinating that you and I are so anti-traditional ladies watches, and we did our very first YouTube video on a ladies watch.
Yeah, and people ask like, why do a ladies watch? Y'all don't talk about ladies watches, and honestly, it literally just came down to the fact that we were like, hey, let's do a YouTube video. And we just happened to have that watch at the time. It could have been anything else.
And it's not a bad watch to have had in the least bit. Yeah, I'm definitely very excited with it. And thank you to everybody who's still sharing it, who's still talking about it, liking it. We have plans for, all of a sudden we have more stuff to do.
We're excited.
So we have some plans, but we did take a week off, hypothetically, in the future / past when you guys hear it. So, but the next YouTube video will be coming, and then a video shortly after that, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna try to get good at this stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think my favorite comments in general about it have been from Adrian from Bark and Jack, who has just like in our group chat and then commented on both the Instagram and the actual YouTube video, something along the lines of like, your first video is supposed to suck. Like, this is ridiculous. And I think if anything, it's so flattering, honestly.
It's incredibly flattering.
Because his content is so good. And then we've got, Jenny has commented on it. We've gotten messages from Teddy about it. Like, it's so cool to kind of like get the pat on the back from like all the big boys.
Yeah, especially because it did take us quite a while to put it together, and it was our first one, and we were incredibly nervous about it, and we're both very picky. We don't like to put out things that are not 100%. And I was watching it, and all I could do is point out flaws, and I was a little down about it, but the comments definitely made me feel better.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
And we'll get better as we go.
That's awesome, but I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
So let's do a wristwatch check before we dive into today's episode. Kat and I went to lunch, and we showed up wearing basically the same watch. And I guess we both had the same idea today to put it on the NATO. Yeah. So what watches are we wearing?
I am wearing our new Fears Red Cliff. Mine's the date version. White dial. I've got it on a green NATO strap today. And these are our anniversary watches from you the guys podcast.
Well, you may know this if you saw on Instagram. But yeah, these are the watches that we had purchased for our podcast
Did we
anniversary.
say that they were Fears? Did we ever say?
I think we did officially say they were Fears, but we didn't talk about which watches that they were.
Okay.
But yeah, very excited. We got these the day before, 2 days before the podcast anniversary. And shout out to Nicholas from Fears, because first of all, if you've never purchased a Fears watch, it's an experience.
Yeah.
Unboxing and unpackaging this watch. I can't describe it in words. Honestly, it's not near the most expensive watch I've ever purchased, but it's the best package watch I've ever.
It was perfection.
I didn't want to open it. He gift wrapped it, and it was so.
I took pictures of the wrapping.
I did too.
It was like, and I was so careful when I unwrapped it, and I slid it out so I could save it. I don't know what I'm ever going to use it for, but the wrapping was so pretty. It's got like the Fears logo all over it too.
Yes, and then the tissue also has the Fears logo all over it.
Yeah,
it had a very nice thank you card in there that was handwritten from Nicholas, and it was so nice. It was just, it really made my day.
Yeah,
it was a highlight.
Yeah, these watches are special to us, and we've had them in mind for so long, and totally lived up to the expectation.
For sure. We had the case back was custom engraved on the case back with our logo. It's so freaking cool to have things with our logo on it.
I know.
I feel like a small child, like the way you felt as a kid when you had like your bicycle with your nameplate. Well, you and I don't know this, but for people with regular names, they had like bicycle nameplates and pencils with their names on
Kathy
them.
And Catherine and
they didn't even have Cat back in the day.
Not with a K.
So annoying.
Not with a K.
So annoying. Yeah, and so it's nice to finally have.
Dang, I forgot about being so bummed at that as a kid.
Oh my gosh! So whole other has nothing to do with the podcast story. When I was in college, I was dating a guy who's a graphic designer, and he I had talked about it randomly, whatever, I forget what it was, and he made me these little folders that were pink unicorns and had my name on them.
Oh my gosh!
And I was like, I hurt you. Clearly not enough because it didn't work out. But yes, I was so excited. I don't even know where they are anymore. I probably threw them out over the years, but I was very excited. But yeah, really having something with our logo on there is just, it's amazing. And then he customized the case finishing because the amount of work that he put into it to make these special to us is just phenomenal. It was a high polished case on both of our watches, and he added some brushing to it just because he knows our personal style, and he knows that we like to be, we like things to look a little bit more casual and sporty versus the dress look.
Yeah, and it looks so it looks more sporty with the brush finishing mixed with the polished bezel. Yeah. It is so good. I need to take like a side profile picture for the gram.
Everything was so good on these.
Yeah.
So Kat got the traditional Redcliffe date, then I did the Redcliffe Continental with date, which is the exact same watch. It's white dial as well, but mine has a GMT complication on it. But I love the way this GMT is done, where it's like an hour wheel on the dial instead of having a fourth hand that shows a GMT around the dial, and it looks so clean. Like,
it looks clean,
really,
and it's actually easier to quickly read, where you're not trying to decipher another hand on the dial.
Right, I'm not trying to find where the hour hand is. I can just glance down and I can see. Oh, and can we say another attention to detail?
What's that?
he had these. So these are quartz pieces, which I actually do love that I threw this on today and didn't even have to look at it. But he had the time set for Tennessee, for Nashville time when we opened them. But on my GMT, he had the GMT set to UK time. And I was just like, my heart is in the UK. Like I can just glance down, and it was so sweet. So Fears, if you don't know, they are a UK based watch brand. Also, if you haven't listened to either of our episodes with Nicholas, if I was proactive, I would have pulled up both the episode numbers, but clearly we are not that proactive. Put them in the show notes. We will put them in the show notes, exactly. But definitely listen to them, and I just love it. Yeah. It makes my heart smile. Me too. So you have yours on a green NATO, and then I put mine on my tropical palm tree NATO.
And that's the best thing about these watches, is that they're a white dial and they go with everything. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. They look good. Like, stick it on any NATO you have, any strap you have. It's just going to look good.
Exactly. I absolutely love it. And I love that it's a little bit more casual looking with the brush finish, so we can put it on NATOs and it doesn't look out of place at all.
And just the small details on this watch. I mean, all the hour markers are the Fears, signature. I guess it's kind of their logo in a way. Anyway, the watch is just completely phenomenal. I'm so excited. And there's also like pretty good lume on it too.
For what's supposed to be a dress watch, yeah, I messaged you that like the first night. I had it sitting on my nightstand, and I was like, "Wait, there's lume on here."
Yeah,
like
there's a lot of lume on it.
Yeah, all of the indexes are loomed, as well as both hands. Right? I'm having a look at it.
Yes. I don't know why I thought that was funny.
I don't know why you did either. You made me very insecure all of a sudden. I was like, why is she laughing at me? Maybe I'm wrong? I don't know. No.
All right. Well,
are we just going to get into
it? Yeah, let's just go into it. I'm like, how do we start this?
Well, we said we weren't going to talk about this. To everybody who sends us DMs begging us to talk about it, we said we weren't going to.
Well, and I think that I just didn't want to respond to 50 people, because a lot of people were asking us questions about this.
And our opinions about it. And even then, I still don't know that I want to give full opinion on it.
I don't either.
But I just want to talk about it in general. And we realize that some of the things we talk about are going to be a couple weeks old, but we're recording this a couple weeks in advance, and realistically, there's 2 recent releases that have caused an absolute uproar.
Yeah,
because people have to nitpick and complain about something.
That's what we do.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Can we just be happy?
Nope.
Like, ever? Do you think there'll ever come a time that something is released and everybody's just like, that might not be my cup of tea, but okay?
No. The first release we'll talk about is the infamous, I'm going to say infamous at this point, Hodinkee travel clock. And we bring this up because literally the week before we had an episode where we talked about limited editions, and Hodinkee had just released this lovely swatch and Flick Flack.
Yeah.
You know what I felt like they did? I felt like they distracted us. It's like hanging a little lollipop in front of us, and they distracted us from what was coming the next week. So what's your, I guess if we don't want to give our thoughts on it.
Well, we can still give our thoughts on it, I guess. Overall, there was a story that went behind the whole thing. And I've texted you this. I texted a few people that we were in our group chat with. While this clock, first of all, this clock isn't made for me. It's not made for you, Kat. It's not made for 95% of Hodinkee listeners. Let's just call a spade a spade. A lot of us, spending $6,000 on a watch is a lot of money.
Yeah.
I've never taken a vacation that was probably $6,000. Like, realistically, I mean, so I'm definitely not buying a travel clock that's $6,000. But I can respect it for the fact that there is somebody who it's for.
Yeah.
There are people who spend this kind of money on stupid things. There are people who spend this kind of money on items that we would think are ridiculous, just as much as there are people who look at us who spend $5,000 on a watch and think we're ridiculous. At the end of the day, everybody can go to Walmart, buy a quartz Casio.
Oh, I've gotten looks from family members.
Yeah.
from the price. And I'm at the point now where I won't even say like how much my watches are.
I don't talk about it. I think it's tacky to talk about.
Yeah.
But I mean, so at the end of the day, it's not made for me, and I can appreciate that. I'm not gonna hate on them for that. I do. Where the hate came from, first of all of the complaining about and all of the smart ass comments about why are they putting out a travel clock? Nobody's traveling. You act like they just made this watch, like or this clock. They had this idea 4 days ago and then did it. No, this was something that they would have been working on for months and months and months on end. Mm-hmm. So at the point that you have a finished product, what are you supposed to do? Just sit on it and hold it and wait a year for maybe we can all travel again? No, like you've already invested so much money into the production of it. You need to go ahead and release it. Yeah, they may have
already had a release date in mind, and it just happened to be that COVID's still going on right now.
And realistically, it's a desk clock. Honestly.
That's what most people will
I don't feel like most people are going to use it to travel anyways. It's a desk clock, and it's for the kind of person who would use it as such. The price, it is what it is. I think the thing that I was disappointed in Hodinkee for was the story side of it. Like, they are such great storytellers. They really are. That's why I've always enjoyed their content. I've always enjoyed reading their articles. They tell some of the best stories. And there was a story behind this watch, behind the way that they got a hold of the movements. And they never talked about that. Like, they glanced over it basically in the press release for it and in the original article, and they never told the story about why this travel clock matters so much, how they got a hold of these movements, why they decided to do this watch or this clock. And that to me was where I was a little disappointed, because I feel like I may not like what it is, but I can appreciate and respect the why behind it, and the passion behind it. And I feel like maybe if they had introduced it a little differently, then the reaction, it probably would have been the same. Y'all like to complain a lot. But maybe it would have felt more justified. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm with you. I think that I don't disagree about the timing of the release. I think that, like you said, it could have been in the works for a long time. I'm sure it was. I also, no one complained about, the Tudor release coming out during COVID.
Yes.
Like, we're spending money. Like, obviously. No one has stopped. If anything.
Are we supposed to stop making, does that mean we're not making any more GMTs? Because that would be insensitive to the fact that nobody's traveling right now, right?
Yeah, I think that me, along with a lot of others, have bought more watches during these last few months than we ever have, and I've seen that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think the luxury market has really slowed down any. Again, I don't think this watch was marketed towards the kind of collectors we are. I think they had a totally different market in mind. They released it, they put it on their website. Of course, there's a ton of people that listen to Hodinkee and read their website and are avid watch collectors. We like Hodinkee because Hodinkee is, let's face it, they're the top of the food chain essentially in the watch media world, and they just got a lot of heat. And I feel like, to me, I can see why people were a little upset about it. The fact that they thought a travel clock, you can go on eBay. Well, and I know a lot of those watches they were showing on eBay, they're 20 and 30 years old. You can't compare. It's like apples to oranges, in my opinion. Granted, it might be made from JLC. I don't care. It's still a 30-year-old watch or clock, I'm sorry, compared to something that's brand new. And then a lot of people were complaining about the quality. And it's funny because it's like, y'all haven't held it in your hands.
Right.
How can you say this is crappy? I have held some Hodinkee watch rolls, and I can tell you right now, they were amazing quality. I can only imagine that this watch was too. People said it in the pictures. There was some stitching coming off. It could have been a test model. We don't know.
Yeah.
I disagreed with the way that Hodinkee handled it. They had their COO come on, I think the day or two after, and he wrote a letter. I feel like it should have came from Ben. Ben is the face of Hodinkee.
Yeah.
I think people would have taken it a little bit better had it come from him, versus a COO that not really a lot of people were familiar with. Granted, he knew a lot of people. He's avid collector and stuff like that. But people were like, you got a business person to come out here and talk to us? Like, I just think that was the wrong move from them. Again, I don't really have an opinion on this because it's not something I want.
For me.
It's not something I need. It could be $20,000 for all I care. It's not just, I don't care. Like, it's not something I care about. So I'm not going to get on there and be upset about it. If you're upset about a $6,000 leather travel clock, like, by all means, don't go to the Hermes website because there's purses that are like $400,000. And that's just a leather bag. Like, it doesn't tell the time. It doesn't have an alarm. Like, it just amazes me how upset people and how riled up they were over this.
And
like,
how rude they were in the comments.
Yeah.
Like, all you keyboard warriors, calm down.
They had nothing else to do but go on there and rant all day.
At the end of the day, somebody worked hard on this. And I don't know. I'm not about breaking people down and attacking like what they do. I realize you know, it's Hodinkee, they're a big, big company and you see them as just a business, but no, there are people behind that. There's somebody who worked hard on designing that. There's somebody who worked hard on the press release. There's people behind this company who were attacked by all of the negativity behind it. I don't know. Maybe it's just my personality, but you cannot like something and you can say so like in a respectful, polite way, or just what God, You know what my mama told me?
What'd your mama tell you?
If you don't have anything nice to say, you just don't freaking say anything at all. And I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like it's a little hypocritical coming from a group of people that's willing to spend 2 times the amount to buy a Rolex Batman or a Hulk because they can't wait and they can't get on a list. The same people that are bashing Hodinkee for asking what they asked for it.
Yeah. I think it's hypocritical.
I'm just not upset by it.
Anybody to say it because, again, at the end of the day, we can go to Walmart, spend $30 on a Timex or on a Casio, on whatever. Like, if we can look at the cell phones that we have, but no, we choose to spend.
Talk about overpriced.
Yeah. Can we? Right. Where are we dissing Apple with these damn phones that we have to buy every 2 years? No, but for us to spend, even if you're at the point where you spend like, $500 on a watch, even if that's the most expensive watch you have, it's still, there's something else that does it for much cheaper. So, I don't feel like it's necessarily right to judge people for what they buy because they have the income to do it, the discretionary income to do it. And shout out to Hodinkee because I think that they've started a new trend in desk clocks because I've seen several people have purchased like travel desk clocks since this came out. So maybe like all you guys who screenshot that, $300 JLC vintage piece on eBay, y'all better go buy it because I feel like the market's about to start increasing. Hodinkee has created a market for desk clocks.
Yeah, and we're not just like trying to kiss Hodinkee's butt or anything. No, we really don't care.
But we say that about we're just not negative people. No. And I feel like you guys know this by now. Like we just ain't nobody got time. Maybe because we're busy. I don't know. I definitely don't have time for it.
I don't know. I wasn't shocked like everyone else was. I thought, oh well, that's expensive, but it's not. I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah, even if it was $200, I wasn't gonna buy it. It's not something that's made for me.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about buying that cute white summer swatch, and I don't need it. Like, I really don't need it. Also, shout out to everybody who's been posting pictures of you and your kids with these watches and the swatches and Fix Flags. I'm obsessed.
It's so adorable.
I'm so freaking cute and adorable. Okay, so Omega introduced the Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon, and Omega introduced the Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon in partnership with Hodinkee, which is a sailing team, a yachting team. Mm-hmm. And you guys...
A Swiss yachting team.
You guys got, like, crazy about it. And, I mean... I don't know. I don't even know where to begin.
Did you see a lot of hate for it? I thought I saw a lot of love for the piece.
No, I love for the piece in general, but hate for the fact that they did a Speedmaster and not a Seamaster. Which, I mean, kudos to Omega for maybe branching out and not just doing the same thing that they usually do for
they
yachting.
Just released a Planet Ocean, a month or two ago?
Yeah, for the America's Cup.
Exactly.
So it makes sense to mix it up. And I don't know, the Speedmaster's like for racing, right?
I thought so.
It's not just the moon. Just to be clear, guys, the Speedmaster was created before we went to the moon, okay?
Yeah.
Just so y'all know. Like, I know that's what it's most commonly associated with, but it was around, I think it's been around since 1957. We didn't go to the moon until 1969. So yeah, it's been around for a little bit, and it was created for race enthusiasts. That's why there's always been a tachymetric scale on the index of the bezel. Yeah, so, I mean, so it does make sense to an extent, and it's a beautiful watch. It's very similar. So if you guys have seen the Apollo 8 Dark Side of the Moon, where it's black and yellow, and then it has that partially skeletonized dial, and then the really well-finished movement that's made to look like the lunar surface. So very similar principle here, except you have black and red. You have the same movement as well. So it is the manual wound, triple display chronograph. The more skeletonized part of the dial is made to look like carbon fiber, which is very similar to the ship's hull. It's black and red. It does have, at the 6 o'clock subdial, it has the Alinghi. If y'all knew how many times we've YouTube this to figure out how it's pronounced, it's got the Alinghi team logo on it, which actually rotates. That's the only part that I'm like love or hate. Like I could.
I don't love the color scheme. I don't like the black and red. I don't like the black and yellow.
I wanted with the black and yellow. I wanted there to be black and red. I felt like the black and yellow has grown on me since I've seen it so much in person. It's grown on me a lot. Yeah. But I wanted black and red originally, and now there's black and red. But you can the uproar over Omega choosing a Speedmaster to partner with instead of a Seamaster. It's just, first of all, the watch is water resistant to 50 meters. And I think that's where a lot of it started, was just the hating on the fact that they would use a 50 meter water resistant watch for yacht racing. And yeah, I'm sure the impact of some of that can be a little bit more than 50 meters. But last time I checked, if you're racing yachts, like, you probably got some money. Let's just be honest. So if your watch gets a little water in it, I'm sure you're okay. The majority of us who would be buying this watch, we're not racing yachts, y'all.
Yeah.
We're buying it because we just like it. I mean, that's just the reality. It's the same principle with dive watches. Nobody, if you buy a dive watch, I'll guarantee you maybe less than 10% of people actually dive with their dive watches.
Probably so.
We buy it because we like them. So there's no point in hating on them for partnering with Alinghi in using a Speedmaster, because most people just aren't even going to use it. It was just a cool way to redesign a Speedmaster.
Yeah.
Basically, is all it came down to. Yeah. And what is the deal with water resistance? We did a post on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because I had an old photo of, I got caught out in a huge rainstorm with my Speedmaster, which is only 50 meter water resistant. And I'm just curious, like, why are we so critical of watches and water resistance for everyday wear?
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that...
Yeah, I'll admit that I've said, I'd like to see 100 meter water resistance, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah.
You know, and every brand has their own standardized test that they put it through. Obviously, if to be considered a dive watch, you have to have at least 100 meter water resistance. And like, you know, I know that... Okay, setting a 30 meter water resistant watch in a sink of water, it's not going to penetrate that case, right? At least as long as the gaskets and everything are new and replaced. But it's the pressure. It's the pressure when you're swimming. It's the pressure when you're diving and you're moving against that flow of water. It's the pressure of the water coming out of your faucet and you running the watch underneath it. Those are the things that I worry about.
Are those things you worry about for a watch that you wear every day?
Not necessarily, because the watches
you're not really going to go swimming with it.
No, but I am going to wash my hands a lot. And so I am one of those people that is more so worried about those. I mean, that's the reason I got rid of my Grand Seiko.
Yeah.
It's 30 meter water resistant, and they only rated it for splashes. Granted, caught in the rain, no problem. I'm not worried about that, but it's the constant washing my hands every day. You know, that water coming on top of the case, I just worried about, especially for a watch of that price point. Now, this Fears watch, I think, is like 50 meters. So this one's a 50. I'm not so much worried about that, even without it having a screw down crown. But again, for me, I like 50. 50 is like a good safe spot for me.
Yeah.
I know I can easily wash my hands without worrying about it. I could even take it swimming. 100 meters, that's where I'd love to be with every single one of my watches.
Yeah.
That to me is, I could take this in the pool. But I'm not in the pool every day.
I wish I had that lifestyle.
All this year.
I know. All the pools are closed.
Jeez,
I don't know where.
I just thought about that.
Yeah, it's depressing. I haven't been like inside a body of water other than my bathtub or shower in a long time.
Man.
Since last year. Since last like summer.
We gotta go to the beach.
And this is the time of year that all my Facebook memories, like every day I'm at
like
the beach.
Pool.
Like over the last 8 years, I've been to the beach every day between the month of freaking May and August.
First world problems.
Very first world problems, but they're terrible.
No, I can understand where people are coming from, but also the Speedmaster has ran through a million tests to be certified with NASA. I think it can handle a little bit of water.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go on a limb.
Like
and say
I mean, I wear my Speedmaster is my favorite watch. It's the watch that I wear the majority of the time, and I don't worry about it. I'm also not washing my hands like this.
Yeah.
You know, well, for you guys who can't see, because you know this is a podcast. I'm not like holding my whole hand underneath the sink. You know,
where the pushers and everything.
Yeah, where water's just gonna splash down on the pushers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not doing that. I wash my hands. I feel like a regular person does. And I will say now, I know the service history of this watch. So I know that this watch the seals and the gaskets are good. If you have an older watch, I would be a little bit more hesitant because those seals just naturally rot out over time. And
it doesn't take that long either.
So that is something that I would consider. But I just I feel like the whole hate on the Speedmaster collection in general for just being 50, like the Moonwatch for 50 meters of water.
I think it's plenty. 50's plenty.
I mean, it's fine. Like whatever lifestyle you live that you might be like thrown into water, I want your life. Like I would love to be thrown into water right now. It's 100 degrees outside. Like, no, I mean, and I think it's a cool watch. I'm excited that they did something different because it's easy to do a Planet Ocean. It's easy to do a 300 meter.
Well, and something that annoys me just a little bit is knowing that Omega has done 100 meters before in the racing series. So why couldn't they have done it here? It would have been nice. A lot less people would have complained. Yeah. I'm not saying well, they probably would have still. No. They would have been like, it's still not a dive watch, blah blah blah. No,
I mean, you know, the internet.
Yeah. No, it's very predictable, but I'm not hating on Omega for choosing 50 because I think it's fine for the people that are going to actually buy this watch and wear it. But knowing that they could have done 100, it's like that might have been a little bit better, but again, I'm not hating on it.
I do out of curiosity wonder if it's so much more difficult. Like, what is the extra process that goes between making a watch?
Some Speedmasters, because I think the ladies, right? The 38, they have 100 meters because I've seen people swimming with those.
Now, I do also wonder the issue with the Apollo 8 dial or with the Apollo 8 watches in general and why they're so kind of few and far between, even though they're not limited, is because of the issues of laser ablating the dials. And this is a laser ablated dial. So I wonder if we're going to run into the same thing where it's going to be difficult to get them and see them in person.
Well, maybe.
Who knows? We'll see.
Same person.
Same exact person. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to another new release that didn't cause quite the controversy.
No,
and that is the Norqain Independence 20 Limited Edition.
Yeah.
And this is super exciting for the brand because this is the first of their exclusive manufactured caliber with movement manufacturer Hodinkee. So Hodinkee, they do movements for both Chanel and they do movements for Tudor as well. Yeah. So I feel like this is it's a big step for such a young brand. I mean, at 2 years old, they are killing it. They're miles ahead of what so many other brands are. And now given they have some big financial backing and their company is founded on people who've been in the watch business.
And, they ran Breitling.
Yeah. So, I mean, they had a little bit more than a little head start, but they also just didn't rest on that and they've really been pushing it. So,
and their designs are original. That's the thing. Like, there's nothing that looks like this out there right now.
No, 100% agree with that. So we've known about these manufactured calibers coming out for a little while now, so it's really exciting to see them. This is the very first watch that features them, and it's limited to 200 pieces. But I hope they continue with this movement, because I know Hodinkee is well known for doing some absolutely phenomenal movements.
I think they will. I think that, you know, what I see them doing is offering this with certain pieces, and then another collection of the ETA caliber to have those two different price points. I think that would be a smart move, because people that may not care about having that 70-hour power reserve and some of the benefits of the more in-house type movement versus just the standard ETA, where you can get a little bit more affordable pricing on it. But yeah, the movement that's in this watch is the same one that I think was featured in the Tudor Black Bay Bronze series. Mm-hmm. And it's a killer movement. And they even have on their website that they've got another GMT movement from Tudor as well that's in the works. And that's exciting. That's like, it's really big news. I'm surprised that this honestly hasn't got as much press as I thought.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I think you have to look past the watch. The watch is really neat, and we'll talk about the watch here in a minute. But it's the fact that a brand that's so young has access to something like that, and to be able to do that, and to do it at this price point. So on the metal bracelet, it's right under $3,000. Mm-hmm. It's $2,990. And I think that's such a phenomenal price point for a specialty manufactured movement by a really phenomenal movement manufacturer who is making movements for the Chanel J12s and for Tudor. You know, it's really cool to see. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot at this sort of price point. And I do like this idea that maybe they do some watches with this movement in it, but they keep some of the ETA-based movements.
I would like to see that.
Because it is, I think their men's collection that features the ETA-based movement, it's about $800 less than this watch here. So I think you're really tackling two really awesome price points like that.
Yeah, you're going to get a little bit thinner with the ETA. Mm-hmm. You're going to get a little bit more affordability with that as well. And then with this one, you know, you're going to get that better movement, the 70-hour power reserve, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to go hands-on with one of these watches, not this specific one, but a Norqain, and the quality is there. You know, the designs are hit or miss for a lot of people. Some people love them, some people hate them. What's different about this watch is it doesn't feature that carbon dial that we were talking about.
Right.
This is something completely new for them. And in what I didn't like about that one is fixed here, because now the dial is printed perfectly. There's no back text, you know, block or whatever I want to call it. It looks much better. Now, I know I'm a fan of green. This is not my favorite shade of green. I think this watch in different colors is going to work for me. This particular color just doesn't do anything for me.
So the dial on this, it's Norqain is calling it a forest green. Mm-hmm. So it has a forest green dial, and then it has a scratched pattern into the dial, which is neat because they say that no two dials will be the same. So each dial is uniquely scratched, I would assume. And it's very subtle. It's something that you see more in some lights, and some lights you don't see it, which I do like. And I almost like, because it's a green dial watch, I like that it's not like a traditional like sunburst or something like that, because that would have just been way too much. Now Norqain also does a black chapter ring on the outside of the dial as well, and then they pair it with, there's a red tip on the second hand, as well as some red text on the dial as well. Kat calls this the Christmas watch.
It's the Christmas tree watch. It reminds me of a Christmas tree, and it's not a bad thing. It just does.
No, right. Anytime you see red and green, it does remind you of Christmas. Now I got to see this watch in person.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's much different than I would expect. I did not expect to aesthetically like the watch. In all honesty, you guys know I'm not a fan of green. I actually like this shade of green. I think this like forest green to like sometimes an olivey green those are like my colors of green. I don't like bright green colors. Mm-hmm. Now in some lights this does look much brighter than what it is. But I like it. Now this is a 42 millimeter case. My biggest complaint I would say is it wears, and now we've had experience with one of their 37 millimeter cases. It wears much larger than 42 millimeter. And I was wearing my Planet Ocean. I went to a local AD here, King Jewelers. I was wearing my Planet Ocean, which is 42 millimeters, but this seemed so much larger. And I think it's because they have that plaque on the side, on the left hand side, and then you have like the crown. It's a big crown, which is great. It's easy to operate, but the crown guards equally are big. So it just wears much larger. But the lug to lug helps kind of tone it down and make it something that still fits pretty practically.
Yeah, and the one that we had, like I said, the lug to lugs, I think they're down pat. Like they got it really well there.
Yeah.
However, the plaque in the crown guards, it just make it wear big. And it came into our favor when we had the 37 millimeter because it made it wear a little bit bigger, which we wanted. But when you already have a 42, you don't want it to wear any, at least we didn't want it to wear any bigger. Right. So I don't know. I'd like to see this in a 40 size, 40 millimeter size.
I think a 40 in this case design would be so good because it would it would probably wear more similarly to a 42.
Yeah.
But yeah, and 100-meter water resistance, screw down crown, all the things that we liked about the Norqain that we had, the Sport Adventure. We have it here. So there's a 4-year warranty plus an extra 1 year. Yeah, I mean, exhibition case back, so you can check out the new caliber, which they're calling the NN20-1. And again, like we talked about how beautifully finished the last movement was, this one very much so as well. It's very clean, very it doesn't have the gold rotor, like the Sport Adventure did, but it's still a very clean finish. And it's not too busy, which is what I like. Sometimes when you get to all of the Geneva waves and the arabesque finishing, it can be way too much, especially on a more casual sporty watch.
Definitely.
But this I definitely like.
What did you think of the bracelet?
The bracelet, so it's not my favorite. I would probably do something like this on the leather strap, but it's not my favorite because I'm not a fan of high polish in bracelets. Because I know myself, I know that like it drove me nuts just seeing fingerprints on it, you know, as I was handling the watch. I like that the case has a lot more brushing than the Sport Adventure does. I think that they did that really well because it does make it look a little bit more casual. And that was one of my complaints about the Sport Adventure was just how polished it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bracelet, it has a lot of high polish to it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan I'm not a fan of polishing on bracelets in general. Like I like the side of the links polished, but that is pretty much it. I don't want any top or bottom links to be polished just because it's going to be scratched. Yeah. And I don't want to look at it.
It's going to drive me nuts when it's scratched. Brushing just hides scratches so much better. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to, like you said, there's a GMT coming out too. That's already, the movement is listed on their website. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they come out with. I think for 2 years they're killing it, and I'm very, very much so looking forward to see what comes next.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. And then one more watch release, right? And then we probably don't have time to get into everything else we wanted to talk about. No. Which is a new Oris, and this Oris will have been introduced yesterday. The day before. Yeah, whatever. This whole we're in the past talking about the future, which will be in the past for you guys. It's a whole thing.
So we have the Oris Hangang Limited Edition Aquas. Yeah. Man, Oris is killing it lately.
I know.
They are, it's release after release, which a lot of brands aren't releasing a lot right now. So it's kind of nice to see somebody that's just putting out stuff. Yeah. So this watch is for the protection and mission to clean the Hangang River in Seoul, which is really cool. We've talked about Oris in the past and their mission to clean the oceans, clean the lakes, and we have much respect for this brand for doing so much work to protect our environment and protect the earth, and that's something we really, we have a lot of respect for. So this watch is limited to 2,000 pieces. It's another green watch. How about that? Two green watches.
Green the color, y'all. I was convinced this year was going to be all about gray. So convinced.
Maybe
and then
next
green
year
has come out of nowhere. Yeah. As the it color for 2020.
And it's strange because I don't know. I'm such a fan of green, but I'm really, really picky about my greens. Now I like the green on the Aquas a little bit better than on the Norqain. Like you, though, we were talking about this earlier. We don't love the sunburst mixed with the bezel. It's just like it's a bit much,
right?
And then it doesn't really match.
Yeah, and so the dial is the sunburst finish dial, right?
Yeah,
y'all. I don't know what's going on today. I can't talk. If we put out a blooper episode for this one, it would just be a disaster. All right, so sunbrushed finish dial, and then the bezel. It looks like it's a high polished ceramic, but it just doesn't. They kind of conflict each other. And so you can see Oris is really big on doing these gradient dials, which are absolutely beautiful. So you have like this bright green in the center that gets a little bit darker. And then and it could just be the angles of the photos and not seeing
I wasn't
going to
say like maybe real life photos of this because we're looking at stock images right now. Real life photos may depict it a little bit differently because I know your watch certainly looked way different than I had ever seen it online too. Yeah. So maybe we won't be so quick to judge.
Yeah, maybe we won't be.
We still love you, Oris.
Well, and I like the way that Oris does the date here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's really neat. So they have a date relief cut into the dial. There is a small seconds here, which I don't know that I've seen really on a lot of the Aquases in the past. And this is it's larger, which Oris does very well. This is the 43.5 millimeter Aquas. One. It's not probably not made for a little 6.5 inch wrist, but Lord knows I would try to wear it.
Yeah, it's cool looking. Yeah, part of me would like to see it in a smaller size, but they do so much in the smaller sizes as well.
There is a green dial Aquas in the smaller sizes.
And I feel for as many people complain about wanting watches in a smaller size, there's just as many people complaining they want to watch in a bigger size. So it's this back and forth constantly. So we'll give you bigger wristed people this one. It's cool. No, this watch is really cool. And like you mentioned, the date, I had mentioned a couple episodes ago, I think that was our limited edition episode where I brought up the
Source of Life.
The Source of Life edition that had the date wheel on it, which I really like because it almost looks like a GMT from far away.
Oh, yeah.
So it has that GMT look, but it's the date, which I still think is more useful. I personally don't like the way they did the seconds hand in this one. I think it throws the symmetry off for me.
Well, again, I would definitely like to see it in person or see more live images of it because the second hand, the counterbalance for the second hand looks from the initial
it's like the
images.
Same length.
Yeah, the same length. So now, given I've never really needed to know
what second it is.
Exactly.
Unless you're taking someone's pulse or something like that, then
which
you might.
I'm not doing.
Yeah,
that's not. In my
I used to.
So, and even then, I'm sure you had you would use seconds.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I mean, 99% of the time when I use the machine, but there's times that the machine doesn't work and you have to use your watch.
That's promising. Good to know.
No, I mean, sometimes it's like reading super high and you're like, okay, well, I know you're not about to have a heart attack, so let me take this by hand.
No, and true to Oris style, it has a closed case back with a really beautiful engraved.
I'm all about these closed case backs with engravings. I think they're beautiful. I'm just to the point now, I have some watches that have open case backs. I don't want it in every single watch. I don't need to always know what the movement looks like.
But it's pretty.
It's definitely pretty. And hanging with your Speedmaster for a few days definitely really made me want a chronograph that had an open case back. Because it's stunning.
Missed my Speedmaster.
I bet you did.
I really did.
I took really good care of it.
I cleaned it. Speedmaster for a week, shooting some footage, and yeah, I really missed it.
Yeah, I mean it's your daily.
Like on Tuesday, I was like, "Oh, what am I gonna wear?"
I don't know what to do anymore.
Right,
my life is lost.
It's all gone. I had to go find some old Speedmaster photo to post for Speedys.
I'm sure you got hundreds on that phone of yours.
Maybe.
Sure.
No, but back to the Oris. Yeah, it's great. I cannot wait. I just love everything Oris is doing.
Oris is killing it.
And even if the watch isn't my cup of tea, I have so much respect for the fact that every watch they've released this year has had a foundation that the proceeds go to.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
They're definitely one of those
have
brands.
so much love and respect for that. Especially in an economy the way that it is now. You can't tell me that, Oris isn't hurting. Every business is hurting right now. Unless you make cleaning supplies.
Well, they were giving away watches to healthcare workers.
They give away 50 watches.
I know. How awesome is that?
That's insane.
Yeah.
Man. We're going to have to talk about all that at some point. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's almost very like Hulk-like. So if you dig the Hulk a lot.
You can't tell me that because I hate the Hulk.
No, I'm going to say it.
It's too green.
It's very Hulk green. Yep, I'm saying it.
You just ruined the watch for me.
You weren't going to buy it. It's 43.5 millimeters. Don't play.
No, I agree. It does.
I'm willing to wear like big watches, but these wear really large.
Yes,
the Aquas wear large, and it's fine. Like this is just made for someone with large wrists. It's cool. Yeah, I'm not hating it.
No, and again, like the thing about Oris, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, is Oris makes so many different sizes of the exact same watch. Yeah. So you can be Goldilocks and Three Bears about it and find that one that fits you just right.
Absolutely.
And I love that. I really do love that because I don't want to feel like I have to settle into a watch. Like for me, Oris was a watch that I loved for a long time. I loved the Aquas for a long time, but I couldn't find anything that fit me just right. Yeah. And then once they started making the 39 millimeter size, it was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, I love it when brands can do that, and not everyone has that ability to offer multiple sizes in the same model, but it's really nice when they do, because then you get people that can have a love for the watch. And I know several people that are like, well, my wife wants this watch, but she doesn't fit that size. And like Norqain, you had the exact same watch, but in a smaller size. How awesome is that? Yeah. Like, just big kudos to brands that can do that.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that probably wraps us up in over an hour. So,
well,
it's pretty good.
Oh, I do this part, don't I?
Yep.
Oh.
Where's your notes? You don't have your notes?
I don't have any notes. I wing this every time, which is why it's a disaster. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed this. Like you said, we pre-recorded this about a week and a half early, so we will get back to our regular contents coming soon.
Regular program or regular scheduled programming. Is that how you say it?
We don't know. We're not fancy like that. We don't have regular programming. We're just the same.
Hey, we're here every Tuesday.
We are here every Tuesday, and sometimes every Friday. And there'll be an episode coming out this Friday. So we have the Aqua compressor Helka that we'll be doing a watch review on for Friday. So very excited about that. Be sure to head over to our website, www.tennand2.com. And then you can see all the show notes, pictures of everything we talk about, get links to different websites, things like that. Make sure you're following us over on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Tenn Media. And then go get subscribed to our YouTube channel, because y'all, some stuff is coming.
Yeah.
For
lots
real.
Lots of stuff's coming.
Lots of stuff. All the content.
We're going to be YouTubers.
We literally were like, oh, we're never going to do that.
No, we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's
fun. You know what? Because we're doing it the Tenn and 2 way.
Yeah.
And the Tenn and 2 way is awesome.
It really is.
Yeah.
Man.
Look at us.
I think that's it.
That's it. We better go.
So weird. All right. Well, until Friday, we'll be talking to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.